Hare Krishna, dear devotees, a great pleasure to welcome all of you for this session. Let us start with Mangalacharanam prayers.
Hare Krishna.
Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyayev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So dear devotees, I welcome you once again for continuation of our Bhagavad Gita discussions. So we have to start from shloka number
3.40 Prabhuji.
40. Thank you.
Pranams Prabhuji.
So we'll start with shloka number 40. Karma Yoga. Yani mano buddhir asya visthanam uchyate ete vimohayatyesha jnanam avritya dehinam. The mind and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Though through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders them. So we know lust arises from kama, from Rajoguna. Both kama and krodha, they arise from Rajoguna. And what is Rajoguna? Rajoguna is that trait in living entities which makes you work hard towards achievement of a goal. You accept a goal, a material goal, and you work hard to achieve that goal. And if you achieve it, you become happy. If you don't achieve it, you become unhappy. But once you achieve that goal, it doesn't mean that you remain satisfied. Then the next goal becomes visible. For example, if you are climbing a mountain range, you see one hill in front of you. You climb on the hill and you reach the top. Then only you see the next hill rearing up in front of you. Then you have to start climbing to reach the next hill. And there you reach and you see a higher peak in front of you. And in life, it's an endless series of these. That lust means you achieve something and then you look for something higher. That is why it is said, it is like feeding or trying to douse fire with fuel. There is a fire burning, you want to put it out by adding ghee to it, or oil to it, petrol to it, or firewood to it, whatever. It is only going to burn higher and higher. So it's all arising from Rajoguna. Rajoguna in man makes him think wrongly. That means it creates an illusion that here is something in front of me. If I achieve it, I will become very happy. It gives you that sense that this is what is standing between me and happiness. Once I achieve it, I will become very happy. So I want it. And so it creates a motive force. I have to achieve it, and then you start working hard towards achievement of that. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. When you win it, your lust grows further. When you don't win it, then you become angry. Krodha comes. When you are frustrated, you feel anger. When your desire is fulfilled, lust grows further. So either way, it's a lose-lose kind of situation. Rajogun creates a series of losses for you. A person who is controlled by Rajogun is a loser, born loser. But they will pose as though they are very successful. Like someone who is trying to become a millionaire, he may become a millionaire and then he will try to act as though he is success in life. But no, he knows how empty he is feeling inside, because there are already other goals in front of him. And this particular goal feels empty to him. There's a sense of hollowness inside. What is this? I worked so hard for this, but I did not achieve the kind of happiness I was expecting out of it. You know why? Can anybody guess why it happens like that? You have a material goal, but you have achieved it, but there is no long-lasting happiness, and it leaves you with a sense of disappointment, with a sense of vacuum. Why?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is it related? Is it because it is related to our body, which is temporary, and we are not connected to Krishna?
Absolutely. Who is searching for happiness actually? Who is the seeker of happiness?
Soul, Prabhuji.
It is a soul. It is a soul which is looking for happiness, but having falsely identified itself with this body, it is setting material goals because it is unable to see something higher. I am higher than the body. I am higher than the senses. I am higher than the mind. I am higher than intelligence. I am higher than even false ego. That sense is not there unless you come to Shabda, Shastra. It is only Shastra and Guru who can tell you who you really are. Until that happens, you have no idea. Like a chick within the egg. What does the chick know about anything outside the egg? Or what does the embryo within the womb know? The fetus in the womb, what does it know about the world outside? Same way, we are all trapped in our false ego and we don't know what lies outside. So all our goals are bound within this particular shell only, into which we are caught. So that is why we say the three modes of material nature bind you to this material world. The three modes of material world, they bind us to this material world. So the liberation means going beyond the modes. So as long as we are operating within the modes, the sense of Rajogun, its effect is like this. It creates false goals in front of you, which are related to the body. And every time the body achieves that, the soul is feeling a vacuum. I am not happy, I am not happy. Because the soul is by nature Satchit Ananda. But when it is conditioned, it loses that Ananda. The liberated soul experiences that Ananda, which is inherent in the soul. It is inherent in the soul, Ananda. But having got conditioned, having acquired a subtle body and a gross body and gross senses, the soul, it now thinks I am this body. And it is only imagining all happiness in connection with the body. And that is why the happiness does not come. So where is this lust sitting? So Krishna explains it further, having told how dangerous lust is. Mahasana, Mahapapma, Vittiyena, Vihavairina. Oh Arjuna, recognize this biggest enemy that you have. Your biggest enemy is Kama and Krodha. And where do they arise from? They arise from Rajogun. And they are your enemies. They open the door of hell for you. And Mahasana, they are always hungry. They always demand food. Come on, feed me, feed me, feed me. And they burn. They burn more vigorously. And they say, come on, now feed me more fuel. And we are trapped in this chain of events, sadhya, sadhana, sadhya, sadhana, sadhya, sadhana. A series of efforts and results, karana, karya. We are trapped in this chain. of efforts. So now Krishna is telling, where is this? When you have an enemy, you have to find out where he is. You have to trap, close that, Where is the gate from which he is entering? Where is he sitting? You have to find the enemy's place where he is hiding, and you should attack him there, to get rid of him fully. Like, pest control, when they come to the house, they go to every nook and cranny and they try to block the pest from entering, whether it is a cockroach or a termite or whatever. So Krishna is telling, where are they sitting? See, they have taken the vantage points. If this body is compared to a fortress, they are sitting in all the vantage points, the senses from which you gather all knowledge, it is sitting there. Knowledge gathering senses, it's sitting there. The mind, the senses report to the mind. Mind is also captured. And mind is directed by intelligence. Intelligence is also captured. So please realize that you are helpless. All the vantage points have been covered by lust. If intelligence was free, you will use intelligence to take control of your mind. And then from the mind, you will take control of senses. But it has not only captured the senses, but it has taken the mind and has also taken the intelligence. Can anyone explain this? How do you understand this? The lust has taken control of all these three. Can you get a sense of this? Can you put it in words? Yes, Anil Puri.
Prabhuji, because we are conditioned, the mind, mind intelligence and soul are all very closely related to each other. And the moment we try to achieve a goal, we use intelligence and we use our mind to achieve it. But once we achieve that, because we are conditioned, we start looking beyond, like you said, beyond that. A simple example is...
Anil Prabhu, can you distinguish mind and intelligence?
Mind is, what the
what is the nature of mind? What is the nature of intelligence?
Mind is what mind is what receives the inputs from the senses, and intelligence influences it by modifying it influences the mind. Intelligence is what we acquire because of our materialistic, the various gunas.
Let me explain to you. There is a
Yes,
clear distinction between mind and intelligence. Mind is the source of thoughts. But how do you think? You think on the basis of the inputs given by your senses. Because apart from the senses, there is no source of information for the mind. So from all the senses, information comes to the mind. With this, the mind sets about thinking. And how does thinking work in terms of, I like this, I don't like this. I want this, I don't want this. This is a success and this is a failure. Like that it thinks, right? It always thinks like that. Like a child, I want it, I don't want it. Only accepting, rejecting. It cannot think beyond. It cannot think beyond that. It is only like a child which is demanding. All the time I want satisfaction. No, I want something and I want it at any cost. That is the nature of the mind, stubborn child like that. But intelligence is not like that. Intelligence is called as the power of discrimination. It's called viveka. In a higher sense, we say nitya, anitya, viveka. That's in a higher sense. A spiritual intelligence teaches you what is eternal and what is temporary. So intelligence has the power to do that. It will tell you what is worth aspiring for and what is dangerous, what should be avoided. Intelligence can tell that. Look, this is what you will get by pursuing this path, and this is what you will get by pursuing this alternative path. That is intelligence. So clear distinction. Mind is like a child, but intelligence is like an adult. Mind simply says, I want something. It says, I don't care how you will get it for me, but you should get it for me. It places order like that. So mind takes the power, position of a controller. I want it at any cost. Then what happens to intelligence? Intelligence, if the mind is very strong, intelligence simply obeys the mind. Even though by hierarchy, intelligence is placed higher than the mind. Because mind has no discrimination. Mind has no viveka. It only has strong attachments and aversions, like that it is. But the intelligence knows what is right and what is wrong. So this right and wrong is there in the intelligence. But mind has no sense of right and wrong. So now you see, as a combination, they are supposed to work. If you take this knowledge and apply it on today's world, you look at the people of today's world, do you think intelligence dominates them or mind dominates them?
Mind only dominates.
Mind,
the world.
Prabhuji.
But will anybody agree if you say this? They will say the world was so backward even 50 years ago. Now science has advanced so much, technology has advanced so much, our facilities and all these things have improved so much. We are living in a scientific world. We have landed man on the moon and we are now thinking about Mars and going into outer space. How do you say we are ruled by the mind? How would you answer this?
So materialistically, if we think progression in materialistic world, even intelligence will give an input to the mind that yes, we have progressed this much. We need to get like even acquiring possessions also. You get something, mind intelligence will tell you you should try to achieve more because you have done this much based on the limited materialistic knowledge. But spiritually, it is.
Intelligence functions in a different way, depending on how the mind is situated. See, if the mind if the mind is so powerful, intelligence takes a subordinate position. What intelligence does? It helps the mind to achieve whatever it wants. Beg, borrow, steal. Intelligence will decide the strategy. Whatever mind wants to achieve, intelligence will help. If mind wants something very urgently, intelligence will say, all right, you can steal now, you can beg now, whatever it is. If you want to achieve it, that's the way you can do it. So intelligence becomes subordinate to the mind. That's what is happening in material world today. People have so much greed, so much lust, so much desire to enjoy sense gratification. They want to become wealthy at any cost because with money they believe they can get anything. Morality, ethics, everything is gone. Belief in God is gone. There is no sense of shame or guilt. You see, they consider shame and guilt as the enemy of this century. They say shame and guilt are preventing economic development, preventing social development. They are stopping the growth of the gross GDP, gross domestic product. Why it is not growing? Because people have this sense of shame and guilt in doing certain acts. No. Just do it. Just do it. Get rid of the sense of shame and guilt. It has been put into your head by your, ancestors who were very backward people. They did not know anything. They had a wrong sense of morality and ethics. Get rid of it. Yes. Otherwise, how in the world we would have today divorce, the concept of divorce, which was not there earlier, premarital relationships, extramarital relationships, abortion of children in the womb, heavy non-vegetarianism, heavy gambling and liquor, drugs. How can all these things grow? If people only knew the right and wrong of things, if people really know what is the long-term effect of what I am doing now, if they knew what is Shreyas and Prayas, they would not do it. So today mind has dominated the people and intelligence is simply become subordinate to the mind. So whatever sophistication, Prabhupada called these devotees, disciples and asked them, he showed them the skyscrapers of New York City. He showed them, can you tell me, by seeing this, what do you understand? They all looked up, they saw the huge skyline of the New York City. They did not understand what Prabhupada says. So someone said, yeah, this is a sign of the economic development, how much the society has grown. Then Prabhupada said, no, see, this is all because of sex impulse. Prabhupada went to the root of everything. According to scriptures, he's speaking from the scripture. This material world is called Maitini Agar. Maitini means sex relationship. Agar means prison. This material world is a prison of sex relationship, sex impulse, right? Why? Because that is what is pushing people to all kinds of activities. And that is what is resulting in economic development. The society is growing, the so-called growth in society is because of that. But actually, that impulse is the shackles of material world. It gets you bound to this material. The soul, this material world is called a prison, Durga. Durga means it's a prison, it's an inescapable prison. But where are the fences? Where are the walls? Where are the locks? Nothing. It's open. So why we are not escaping from this material world? Because we are shackled by the invisible lock, invisible chain. That is Maithili, the desire for sex. So Prabhupada said, this is all because of it. This is what a spiritual leader is. This is what the meaning of a Jagat Guru is. He goes to the root of a problem. From the scriptures, he guides you. This is what is. So this is nothing to be proud of. Prabhupada would say, the dogs are running on 4 legs and you are running on 4 wheels. Prabhupada said, what is that to be proud of? Instantly, if the pride goes up saying, see how man has advanced. Today we are going so fast on our 4-wheelers. Prabhupada said, what is the use? The dog is running on 4 legs and what it is doing, eating, sleeping, waiting, differently. Same thing you are also doing. What makes you great? In the name of science, why do you say you are so great? Your mind is still uncontrolled. Your senses are still uncontrolled. So that is where the problem comes. So in a proper hierarchical arrangement, soul sits on top. Soul sits on top. And there is no false ego. The soul has the true ego. And what is the true ego? I am a soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I am his eternal servant. Krishna is a supreme enjoyer. And my business is to facilitate that enjoyment. As a servant, I must facilitate enjoyment of Krishna. Yes? Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhyai yayali nirapekshaniya tattati dakshadati vallabhasya vande guru shri charana ravindam. You have heard this?
Yes, Prabhuji. Samsara Davanala.
Yes.
What does it mean, this shloka? Fifth shloka. Sixth.
Prabhuji, is it that the Guru facilitates Radharani's and Krishna's and Gopis' pastimes in the Nikunja?
Perfect.
No, Prabhuji.
Perfect. Nikunja, ratikeli siddhyai yayaribir yukti rapekshaniya. Yukti means it comes from intelligence. So his mind is simply servant of intelligence. And what his intelligence is doing? It is making plans. How will I bring Krishna and Radharani together in this Nikunja? How can I arrange the best Nikunja and bring somehow Radharani and Krishna together, and I will make them enjoy. I will give them the best enjoyment. And he's planning. Yayalibir yukti rapekshaniya. He's always planning how to arrange this. You understand? This is a Guru. This is actually a Guru. So Guru is not planning his own sense gratification. Why? Does it make sense to all of you what we are talking?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Why is a Guru so obsessed with giving pleasure to Radha and Krishna?
Yes, that is the actual purpose of the soul, Prabhu.
I don't know. Why? How can it be? Simply because I am saying.
Prabhuji, we are all, even if we are doing bhakti, it is on the sensory, we are doing our self gratification, Prabhuji, even in bhakti also. But
Yeah.
Guru is not like us, Prabhuji. He is a perfect Vaishnava. Paradukha dukhi.
Do you
Never.
feel something nagging you somewhere? Why I am not enjoying? I have Gurus arranging for enjoyment of Radha and Krishna, but I am looking for my enjoyment. Somehow, I don't see, it's not a very good proposition. Yes?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, to get to that realization, I had to start believing my Guru and then get into the realization probably.
Yeah. But till such time, we must use our logical thinking capacity also. It can be explained by First of all, is it very difficult to understand that I am not the body? That is the starting, no? Deha Dehi. We have seen a dead body, we have seen a living body. Prabhupada went to MIT, Prabhupada went to MIT, and there were so many 400, 500 professors, and they were proudly displaying the list of departments they are having. Prabhupada said, Prabhupada very carefully browsed through all the departments. Oh, very nice. But where is the department which studies the difference between a living body and a dead body? Because is it not very important? Once you know the difference, oh, this particular chemical is missing from the dead body, so I will provide that medicine chemical and then it will become alive. Is it not very important? Why should people die? Are you having a department to study that? You are supposed to be the greatest institute in the whole world, in the frontiers of science. They did not know how to answer. No. That's the most important thing, no? So the point is, we are identified with the body. We are thinking, I am this body only. So, carefully listen. The soul is identified with the body, and the soul is looking for happiness. So, naturally, the soul is looking for happiness through the body, thinking, I am this body. So, we should understand that. I am a soul. I am Dehi. I am not Deha. That I am looking for happiness through this body is the result of my conditioning. Unlimited lifetimes of false ego. I have identified myself with 84 lakh different species of body. And through the body, I am always trying to experience happiness. This is the result of conditioning. So, see, the soul loves itself. Soul loves itself. But the soul has now lost touch. The soul is now attached with this body, body after body after body. So then, because the soul thinks I am the body, the soul loves the body. There is no other reason why the soul loves the body. The soul loves the body because it thinks I am this body. So anything that will give happiness to the body, soul thinks will make me happy. The body means, again, the senses. 5 knowledge gathering senses, 5 working senses, the mind. So the soul thinks, this is where my happiness lies. So we are working on those lines. But the moment we wake up and realize I am not the body, I am a spirit soul, then you transfer your efforts to making the soul directly happy. This body, you realize it is temporary. Whatever happiness I get through this body is also temporary. But I also know that this body is constantly undergoing transformation. From childhood to boyhood to youthhood to middle age to old age and death, I am constantly changing. So this is not a happy proposition. Even if I am successful to become happy today, I don't know what will happen to me tomorrow. There is so much of uncertainty. There is old age, there is disease, and there is death. So the soul realizes that, no, I am not this body. And this body is something else. I am eternal. This body is temporary. And my constantly looking for happiness through this body was a mistake. I want my happiness. Yes, then what happens, you tell me? Now I realize I am a soul. So what do I do? What does the soul do after realizing I am a soul?
Soul should know, Prabhuji, what is the best way that it can be happy.
Yes. So what happens at that point?
Then it looks for happiness.
By mental speculation, what's called Jnana Yoga, by studying scriptures, Nididhyasana, constantly in the association of such people looking for liberation, you read the scriptures and the scriptures teach you how to get rid of this body consciousness. And then you reach a stage called liberation. At that stage of liberation, you go beyond the body, you go beyond the subtle body, and then you are in transcendence. You are no longer in material consciousness, you are in transcendence. So in transcendence, the soul is in the knowledge of itself and it experiences Brahma Ananda. The word Brahma means truth. Truth. So it at last reaches truth and it becomes happy. Yes, that's called Brahma Ananda. The soul realizing itself becomes happy. It needs nothing. You understand? If the soul is misidentifying with the body, it needs unlimitedly things to become happy. It never becomes happy. But once the soul realizes that I am the soul, then it is Atmaram. It is self-satisfied. It doesn't look for anything else. That's called Brahmananda. It stops there, enjoying itself. But this is also not complete realization, because beyond Brahman realization, there is Para-Brahman realization. Para means higher. Para-Brahman, higher than Brahman. What is that? That is Supreme Personality of Godhead. It realizes then that, Hare, I am part and parcel of the Supreme. Please understand this. In the stage 1, please write down in your notebooks also. So next time you get a doubt, you can always refer. Soul first identifying with the body, starts looking for happiness through the body, but body is temporary. All its happiness is like Chapala Sukha, Bhogatyaga, temporary little happiness. And then it is lost. It is becoming frustrated again and again. There is frustration. Whether there is fulfillment of desire or non-fulfillment, either case, it is dissatisfied. There is unhappiness only. So this is the stage of the soul when it is completely locked up in the conditioned stage, thinking I am this body. But then by reading the scriptures and through mental speculation, it gives up this attachment to the body, to the body made of the 5 elements. It rejects. I am neither the working senses, I am neither the knowledge gathering senses, I am not the mind, I am not the intelligence, I am not the false ego. It reaches. Theoretically, it's not possible. I am telling theoretically. There is something else, Jnana Yoga, there is a separate chapter we are going to read in Bhagavad Gita. I am theoretically telling, when the soul rejects all that is not real, the entire body, everything is unreal. So it rejects all the false things. Ultimately, the truth remains, and that is called Brahman. Brahman is called truth. And so that Ananda spontaneously comes from the soul. That's called Brahmananda. And that's called liberation. So a liberated soul experiences its own bliss, and it doesn't need any external help. At this stage, the soul experiences itself. But the happiness, if it has to rise higher than this, the soul has to realize something even higher than itself. Until now, soul had identified something lower than itself as the self, the body. But now, if the soul identifies something higher than itself, what is the higher thing? The higher thing is that which never gets conditioned, that never falls down into material Maya, into the Mahamaya. It always remains enjoying itself eternally. That is the higher thing, which is called Para-Brahman. And this Brahman is simply a part and parcel of that, an infinitesimal part of that thing, which is called Supreme Personality of Godhead. So once the soul realizes that I am a part of that, then the soul will realize if this part wants to become happy, the right way is to make the whole happy. To serve the whole is the way for this part to become happy. Then automatically your love for yourself is transferred to Para-Brahman or Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is a natural thing. Nikunja, Radhikeli Siddhyair means the Acharya knows I am the eternal servant of Krishna. I am his part and parcel. I am watering the root of the tree and I am a part of the tree. Like my hand feeds the stomach. Not that the hand is a stranger to the stomach. No. By feeding the stomach, the nourishment comes to the hand because it is part of the same body. Same way, by watering the root of the tree or by serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the souls are nourished. Not only me, all the souls in whole of creation, they all get nourished. So this understanding naturally makes the soul start serving God with great happiness, not with a grudging mood. Oh my God, I have to now go on serving Krishna. What is the use? I always wanted to serve myself. Now I am told I should serve Krishna. It is not in that kind of grudging mood. I recognize I am part and parcel of Radha Krishna. I did not know, but now realization, see, that realization is called supreme knowledge, Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam. What is that? To know I am part and parcel of Supreme God. To know that I am a soul is also true knowledge, but it is inferior. The perfect knowledge is to know that I am a soul and I am part and parcel of the Supreme. Does it make sense? Do you have still any doubts? Anyone? So it's natural. It's not unnatural. That's what I want you to understand. When a spiritual master is constantly meditating on giving happiness to Radha and Krishna in the Nikunja of Vrindavan, it's not unnatural. Prabhupada would say, in one purport, Prabhupada would say, the Goswamis in Vrindavan, they were very rich people, very opulent people, aristocratic people, wealthy people who were greatly respected, very handsome people. They rejected everything and they went to Vrindavan and they slept under a different tree every day, wearing 2 pieces of cloth, one in the waist and one in the shoulder, eating dry rotis without salt. So this is, Prabhupada said, this is externally. Externally, this is what you see. Internally, what they are doing? Can anyone try?
Tasting the real nectar of being the servants of the Lord, Prabhuji.
That is a little vague. You be specific. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. What are we doing? These Goswamis.
Internally, they are nourished, Prabhuji.
What is this?
Internally, they are recognizing that I am part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. They are not. No, they are not in want. They are not in want of that food, which is they are having it, but they are actually accepting that Krishna is there. No, Prabhuji. Enjoying.
I'm not saying you are wrong, but I'm feeling that you are afraid of saying it out.
Love of Radha Krishna Prabhu.
Come on, go beyond. What is it they are doing?
They are assisting the
Internally, they
Lord
are
in the
releasing
pastimes and
Prabhuji.
showing.
I want you to say that. See, simply loving Radha and Krishna and sitting quietly, meditating, is that what they are doing?
Relishing the pastimes.
Not just relishing the pastime, they are engaging in the very pastime. They are in participants. They are actually participants in those pastimes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Externally, they are sitting under a tree in Vrindavan, having just one change of clothes, one small dhoti and one small upper cloth, and they are sleeping under a different tree, and very, very meager food they are eating. In the heat and the cold, they are living like that. There is no savings of money. If they are sick, there is no one to look after them, no insurance. There is no tasty food. There is no comfortable bed in which to sleep. Externally, Prabhupada says, don't think they are not happy, they are not enjoying. They are enjoying much higher than you because they are not the body at all. You are looking at the body and trying to figure out how they can be happy. You are only looking at the body because we are thinking I am the body only. So you are trying to evaluate them on the basis of body. And you are thinking, oh, they are suffering so much. Oh, heat and cold, Vrindavan can be terrible. Already they say Vrindavan minimum is 17 degrees. Some people are going for yatra. Minimum is 17, maximum is 32 or 31 like that. Now it will go down further. They were living with 2 pieces of cloth only. But don't think they are suffering. That the soul is connecting with Krishna. It has entered into the pastimes of Krishna. Externally, the body is doing many things, but internally, soul is in the association of Radha and Krishna. What they are doing? They are serving Radha and Krishna to enjoy. Don't think they are waiting for Radha and Krishna to make them happy. Like we are doing, Jai Jagadisha Hare. We give me this, give me that, give me children, give me wealth, give me a lot of enjoyment in this world. They are rather giving pleasure to Radha and Krishna. They are not praying to Radha and Krishna to fulfill their desires. They have no desires. Understand, a devotee has no desires. A devotee has no desires. So what will the devotee ask God? To understand gopis, at least theoretically, let us try to understand. A devotee has no desire. So gopis have no desire for themselves. So don't try to interpret their actions by your vision. Whatever they are doing, it is purely for the pleasure of Krishna. Whatever they speak, it may appear that they are speaking for themselves. They are speaking out of selfishness. But never get confused, because see, the Paramatma is sitting within you and me. He knows your every thought. And the gopis are certified by Bhagavan that they are the perfect. So please don't allow these kind of, what you call judgments to enter into your consciousness and say, no, I think this not good. This gopi doing it's not very good. Don't allow the judgments to enter into your mind, because they are fallen. They are all enjoying the highest sweetness by giving pleasure to Krishna, because they are watering the root of the tree, and I know I can only explain theoretically, but this is what it is. They are already enjoying. Even though they are in this material world, they are not waiting to die and go back to Krishna. Don't think. They are already there with Krishna. Don't judge on the basis of the body. Am I making sense? Is there anything else you want to hear?
Yes, Prabhuji. But Prabhuji, I have a doubt, Prabhuji. Don't they feel hunger, Prabhuji? Because what we see is that, no, Prabhuji, practically I just have that doubt. Because their body, we have to take care of the body. So how does that body, when the Atma knows that they are connected to the Supreme Lord and gets nourished, does the body also gets nourished, Prabhuji?
Do you have any doubt? Any doubt?
No, not like that, Prabhuji. Like even without that, is it for us to
if the Goswamis eat, they eat for Krishna. If they do something to maintain their body, supposing they take medicine, let's say they have a headache and they take some medicine, they are not taking for their comfort, they are doing it for Krishna. Why? Because yajñātād karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhane. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. All your actions should be yajna. Yajna means what? Sacrifice. So this is what they are doing. They are doing everything for the whole, and that's called a sacrifice. Instead of doing it for the part, you are doing it for the whole. So it's the sacrifice. So this basic consciousness of hunger, thirst, and all, no, it is all taken care of by the Lord. To the extent that you are surrendered. If you are fully surrendered, the supreme energy will nourish you. After all, we know that the food is simply a transformation of material energy. Is it not? We don't need too much science to understand the food we eat is simply energy.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, adding to Suma Mataji's comment, I many a times feel that we as devotees that is our basic struggle. We don't have that realization, and we know that yes, whatever we had been taught is correct. So in this material pangs, that becomes to keep you in that without realization is the basic struggle which we are going through, and that's a very, very difficult phase is what I feel, because we are into that material being. You day in and day out come in connection with contact with all the kinds of people, and you realize there are certain things wrong. Then once you come back to that struggle of again putting you into the entire thing is what I feel is the most difficult phase which we have.
The challenge, as you say, is making this constant shift between material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. If you are in this material world, you develop this material consciousness by the people around you, the environment around you, the gunas around you. They put you into a kind of material consciousness, and then you again struggle to put yourself back into spiritual consciousness. So there is two kinds of knowledge which are floating around you. One is the knowledge of ignorance. Actually, it is a knowledge of ignorance. This material world is made of ignorance. And the knowledge of ignorance is made of the three gunas. But that is, we
perfectly know that.
Yeah, we theoretically know it. So, see, that is why we say Shabda Praman. No? Shabda. Pratyaksha Praman is what we experience through our senses. But Shabda Praman is what we experience through our. Can you tell me?
Scriptures.
Through the scriptures, Prabhuji.
Guns and through the
Listening.
Vani.
You are contacting Shabda.
Shabda Praman is scriptures. No problem.
You are contacting Shabda through your faith. That is the contact we have now. As of now, we connect with the Shabda through our Shraddha only, through our faith only. So your Pratyaksha Praman says something. Your Shabda Praman says something else. And there is a gap. This gap is only creating our tension. If you are more inclined to accept the Pratyaksha Praman, then the tension takes hold of you. Oh, my Pratyaksha says like this. How the Shabda is saying something else? I am unable to accept the Shabda because my Pratyaksha says something else. But if your Shraddha goes stronger and stronger and stronger, then you are identified with Shabda. Then the Pratyaksha has no hold on you after that. But this gap is very much there for us. But if you continue your sadhana steadily, sincerely, this gap will be closed. You will start seeing through the Jnana Chakshu. See, I know at this point of time, it will all sound like some word juggler even, by putting the same thing in different words. But no, these are all facts. You start seeing through your soul. You start seeing through the Shabda. Then the control of the senses over you gets weakened. So that is what we call Shraddha and Swabhava. Shraddha and Swabhava. Shraddha comes from faith in the scripture, in the spiritual master, in the scriptures. That is from where you get Shraddha. And this is your only asset. This is your eternal asset. This is the strength of this asset determines how well you progress in your spiritual life. The other side is your Swabhava, which you have acquired in so many lifetimes. And you are fighting with it. Because of Shraddha, now to understand that whatever Swabhava I have acquired, it is all anartha, opposite of artha. Artha means substance in English. Substantial. No, we say substantial. Artha means substance. That is a real value. Anartha means no value. So whatever we have acquired through our senses so far, with our material mind and material intelligence, it is all anartha. So on the one side, we have acquired Shraddha, which says, I am eternally the servant of Krishna. My business is to always serve him. My only abhilasha is Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam Anukuliyana Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. I want to do this Uttama Bhakti to Krishna. I want to give up all other desires. I want to have only one desire to serve Krishna. And I want to achieve it not through karma or jnana. I want to achieve it only through bhakti. This is your Shraddha. Swabhava is all the other things which are demanding sense gratification, food, hunger, thirst, pain, pleasure. All these, they are all in your Swabhava. Your strength of faith is determined by, as of now, Sukriti. Whatever Bhakti Sukriti have done, that determines the strength of your Shraddha at this point of time. So we are 14 of us here in this group. All of us are not having the same level of Shraddha. To start with, this is where we are. Each of us have our own level of Shraddha. But from this point of view, how seriously we undertake Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya will determine how we make progress. So as of today, we are standing at different levels. You know, like in a running race, sometimes they give a handicap. Somebody is made to stand 50 meters ahead, somebody stands 50 meters behind, like that. So like that, today with our Shraddha, we are standing in different positions. But thanks to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrangement for us, to the extent you take Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya seriously, you will go race towards Anartha Nivritti. Your Anarthas are destroyed. And then you reach a stage called Nishtha. Nishtha is a stage where almost all your Anarthas are gone. And then you experience this prema, no, what we are talking about, that strong attachment towards Krishna that you will experience at that stage. So till that time, we should hold on to Shraddha, what we have. And we should always run in the association of devotees. We should always try to stay in the association of devotees and read the scriptures, hear the lectures like that. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
So this is what distinguishes the Goswamis from all of us. Goswamis, from our vision, they seem to have a material body. And we think there is hunger, thirst, etc. etc. In fact, Raghunath Das Goswami, it is said that once in a week he would take a palm full of buttermilk. and drink. And while drinking, he would say, oh, I have to maintain this body and this is unnecessary waste of time. Raghunath Das Goswami is called Prayojana Acharya. Prayojana Acharya means he's already experiencing prema completely. And he would say, oh, I have to do this sense gratification to maintain my body like that. Just to show that these are not the needs of a pure devotee. A pure devotee is maintained by his prema. Don't think that palm full of buttermilk maintained him, taken once in a week. So
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna says, Yoga Kshemam Vahami Aham. What you have, I will preserve. What you lack, I will supply. This is Krishna's guarantee. And maintenance of the body is not that important. Maintenance of the body is done by Krishna on needs basis. When it is time for you to go back home, you will go. And also, please realize this, Prabhupada has told many times. Don't look at the Guru as a material human being. A Guru is already spiritual. His body is spiritual. Don't judge by the external appearance. Same thing we do know when we go to Vrindavan, we think this is Vrindavan. No. Oh, there is so many pigs. I don't know now. I have not gone in a long time. There are pigs. There is open sewage flowing everywhere. Yamuna is full of filth. Oh my God, did I come to Vrindavan only to see all these things? I heard so much glorification, but what I am seeing here, no, it's totally different from what I heard. Like that, no? We assess a place or assess a person with our material senses and we form judgments. Everywhere we have to take the shelter of Shabda. And how to take the shelter of Shabda? By staying in association with devotees and constantly hearing only, we can take the shelter of Shabda. Yeah? Okay. So let us go to the next shloka. So what Krishna is telling, what Prabhupada is telling, first the lust catches the mind and senses. They become the repositories of lust. Prabhupada is, developing it gradually. First we hear about sense objects. Then the mind generally is filled with ideas of sense gratification. Then it touches the intelligence department to the lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next door neighbor of the spirit soul. So mind higher than that intelligence, next you have the spirit soul, next door neighbor. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify itself with matter and thus with the mind and senses. So the false identity comes from the lust. Prabhupada says it is the lust that binds the soul with the false ego and the body. That's what he says. So this shloka is very beautiful. This Bhagavatam shloka, very beautiful shloka. Please study and relish that. It teaches something very important. How our mundane intelligence and mundane mind prevents you from connecting with the spiritual. Even if you are doing some spiritual activity, the mundane consciousness drags it down. Like if you go to Vrindavan, even if you are standing on the bank of Radhakund, you may still have a material consciousness and see everything material. And this is explained in this shloka. Kindly read it later on. Now 41. Tasmat tvam indriyan yadav niyamya bharata rishabha papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So here, Papmanam Prajahihyenam Jnana Vijnana Nashanam Niyam Tasmat Tvam Indriyani Yadav. Start with your senses. So start with your senses. This is the advice of Krishna. Supreme Lord is telling, so we better understand. Start with your senses. How to control lust? It has occupied my senses. It is occupying my mind and intelligence also. And it has made my soul a captive. How do I go about becoming free? Start with your senses. So control your senses. First you have to control your senses. Control senses means in Krishna consciousness, engage your senses in serving Krishna. For Mayavadis and Jnanis, controlling senses means sitting tight, eyes closed or half closed, meditating. Neti. But for devotees, control of senses means engaging them in Krishna service. You remember Ambarish Maharaj, right? Ambarish Maharaj, how he engages all his senses in the service of Krishna. That is what we have to practice. And Krishna says, start with that. Regulate the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. By controlling the senses, you can destroy this lust, which destroys true knowledge and self-realization. It will not allow you to realize the self as long as you are a slave of lust. Then, we have already heard this. Vishaya vinivartante, niraharasya dehinaha, rasavarjam rasopi separam drishtva vartante. When you experience a higher taste, first you start with controlling the senses only. But eventually, you will experience a higher taste. Nikunjayu no radhikeli siddhyaya. Like that, you will experience a higher taste of Radha and Krishna. Then, no longer there is control of senses. No longer control of senses, because the senses have become snakes with the poison teeth broken. The senses have no longer power to bite you and inject poison. The senses are like snakes, poisonous snakes. But Krishna Bhakti breaks the poison fangs, and the snake can no longer inject poison into your system. Yeah, this is what the scripture says, and Prabhupada says again and again. So lust is, the next paragraph on this purport is also very, very interesting. Lust is the perverted reflection of Krishna Prema, which is natural for every living entity. Mind-boggling statement, right? Krishna Prema is natural in us, but once it becomes perverted, it becomes lust. Prema becomes Kama. Krishna Prema becomes Atma Kama. You start desiring sense gratification for yourself. So Prabhupada says, if you are educated in Krishna consciousness from the very beginning, then Prema does not deteriorate into lust. When love of God deteriorates into lust, it is very difficult to return to normal condition. Please understand. So we are in a difficult position because we have allowed Prema to be transformed into Kama. So what to do? Nevertheless, Krishna consciousness is so powerful that even a late beginner, I am a late beginner, can become a lover of God by following the regulative principles of devotional service. Just by following sadhana bhakti, we can become lovers of Krishna. So from any stage of life or from the time of understanding its urgency, two things Prabhupada say, any stage of life, that's not important. Please understand, any stage of life, not important. Even if you are 90 years old, not important. What is important? The urgency. Yes. From time of understanding its urgency, have you understood the urgency of Krishna consciousness? That is when you have really come to consciousness. Urgency of it. Not that I listen to the class, forget everything and go become engaged in some material gossip and material movie watching, going to the mall and enjoying with friends and all that. No, then I have not realized the urgency. So Prabhupada says, anytime you realize the urgency, the job becomes easy. One can begin regulating the senses in Krishna consciousness. Once you realize urgency, you can control your senses. If you don't realize urgency, then senses will control you. As simple as that. When the senses, temptations are so powerful, no? Temptation keeps on hanging on you until you succumb. They wait, ice cream or something. The temptation is so very strong until you succumb. Of course, you succumb and the desire becomes stronger next time. So what do you have to do? You have to turn to devotional service of the Lord and turn lust into love of God, the highest perfectional stage of human life. Very beautiful purpose. 42. Indriyani paran yahur indriyebhya param manaha manasastu para buddhir yo buddhe paratastu saha. So the hierarchy is given. Working senses are better than dull matter. First it is matter, unconscious matter around us. Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu, come. Whatever dead matter around us, that is the lowest. Above that is the working senses. Above the senses is mind. Above the mind is intelligence, and soul is even higher than intelligence. So we have to know. So you have to identify higher, higher, higher. Don't identify with dull matter. Don't identify with senses or mind or intelligence. Identify with the soul. The higher, greater you go, the more you become free from material suffering. So that's what is explained here. So Prabhupada is quoting that Param Drishtva Nivartate, second chapter. Until you get a higher taste, you have to control your senses. Once you get the higher taste, no more control. No more control is required. Because your mind is attached to the higher taste. Your intelligence is attached to the higher taste. Soul is attached to the higher taste. The inferior taste cannot control you anymore. You don't have to control your senses anymore. The senses are automatically engaged in Krishna's service. You see, when the soul is connected to Krishna, the intelligence, the mind, the senses, they are all connected to Krishna. They don't demand anything separate. The mind becomes supremely happy. So the mind will never turn towards the senses again. Mind is directly getting happiness from the soul. And the senses also, because of the mind is pure, senses they turn inward towards the mind. So no longer they are externalized. So this is so beautiful. Even though the soul is the master of intelligence and mind, and the senses also, still, unless it is strengthened by association with Krishna, in Krishna consciousness, there is every chance of falling down due to agitated mind. So you have to connect with Krishna. He's the only hold, He's the only savior. We have to connect with Krishna and hold on to him. Then all these enemies will lose their strength. Okay, so we have done 42. 43 is the last shloka in this chapter. Let us do 43 also and move on.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, you still hear me, no? Yes,
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, you are hearing.
I got a message that I am switched off or something like that. But you can hear me. Fine. So let us do this last sloka also. This is a very, very important sloka. Please try to memorize this. Important sloka. Evam buddhe param buddha samstabhyatmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kama rupam durashadam. Krishna gives the ultimate solution to our problems. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence. The word material should be attached to all three: material senses, material mind, and material intelligence. Okay? Don't think your intelligence is very great. As of now, our intelligence is not great. Why? Because we have a material intelligence. Our intelligence is absorbed in matter only. Whether you are Isaac Newton or you are Albert Einstein or whatever great scientist, but still your intelligence is whatever IQ we talk about. It's all material IQ. So we are actually transcendental to that intelligence also. Oh, mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence. Here the word spiritual intelligence comes. So we are transcendental to material senses, mind, and intelligence. And how to steady the mind? By deliberate spiritual intelligence. And Prabhupada puts within bracket, Krishna consciousness. So you acquire your spiritual intelligence when you come to Krishna consciousness. Till then, you are not intelligent. You are simply the servant of a little stubborn child called mind. Your intelligence was simply servant of mind. That is not spiritual intelligence. So, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Lust cannot be controlled by any material effort. It can be controlled only by spiritual strength acquired from spiritual intelligence, which is actually Krishna consciousness. Do you agree with this from your experience?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sure, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, 100%.
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely.
So this is where we are working. So don't relax your effort. Don't slacken your effort. Please keep trying hard. Please trying hard. And that way, the goal is guaranteed. In Kali Yuga, this is the only way for success. Please allow me to get out of this